Hello viewers, here is a Hampton Bay window fan. This is the model number WFT9. And here's a look at the highly reflective informations. It is a Shell Electric or Midea product, likely sold in the summer of 2003. I remember seeing these at Home Depot back in the day. I don't recall them having the Hampton Bay logo on them, but that is a plus. I remember seeing these sold alongside the floor fans, the high velocity floor fans, which were also made by Midea. And while I don't recall the ones in the store being branded Hampton Bay, I did find one very similar, which is in fact branded Hampton Bay. I found this at the OK Well, which is kind of unusual to see fans there. Probably 80 or 90% of the time that I go there, there is either no fans or nothing of interest at all. But finally a fan showed up after, I would say, easily months of not seeing any fans there. There was another fan there. It was a, I think it was a Epitomus or whatever it is, pedestal fan, probably another Midea product as well, but it looked like it was a newer version, like 2000s, 2010s maybe even. If it was a 90s or older, I would have gotten it, but it was just a bit too new to be worth the storage space, because those things take up a lot of room. So this was a pretty cool find, because I remember very distinctly seeing these at the Home Depot and wanting one. This is rather intriguing to me because the design appears to be a combination of the Holmes ones. The blade in particular looks to be pretty much the same as the one that Holmes uses. Meanwhile, the rest of the fan, like the controls and the layout of the front guards here, kind of seems more like the current Midea made version of this fan. I don't think that the Holmes one is also made by Midea. It's possible that these blades just came from Holmes. I have no idea. You know, it seems like all these different manufacturers take parts all from the same place and just throw their name on it. So who knows. I think these are generally pretty good fans. I like this control set better because the controls are easier to turn than the Holmes one. It's that's not moving too nicely. Thermostat controlled, 3 speeds, individually controlled fans, reversible. Pretty much as fully featured as you could get for a window fan like this. I don't find that these are super effective unless you have a really small room, just because the CFM volume is kind of low because it's a smaller fan. At least these, I think, are 9-inch fans. The 6-inch ones are almost useless. Yeah, these are 9 inches. So, yeah. I don't know how this comes apart. It looks to me like it may come apart fairly easily. It looks like it's got some kind of locking mechanism where it just slides off. It's kind of falling apart right now. But I wonder if the removal of those 2 screws would give you full access to the interior without having to remove those stupid clips. I have a suspicion that it may. So this is going to make for a really interesting clean and service video, because these fans notoriously are an absolute pain to disassemble and clean. I don't see anywhere for the feet to have gone on. I know the newer ones do have feet that come with it so you can stand it up on a table. Maybe these never had that. The cord comes out the side here, which I kind of like better than it coming out the bottom in the center. Although I suppose it could go both ways, because if your outlet is over there, then it's not going to reach. Oh, let's go ahead and plug this thing up and see how it runs. It is pre-fused plug era, but inherently it's not pre-bent prongs era. Let's get the power bar plugged in. Someday, I don't know, maybe 10 years from now, but someday I'll remember to plug in the power bar before starting the video. Alright, so this is rated for 0.57 amps. It is PSC motors, so it's fairly efficient. I'm pretty sure the 6-inch ones with the shaded pole motors are almost like 1.5 amps or something crazy. Alright, so we're testing at 121.1 the volts. Now it's 121 on the nose. Let's go over to amps, and we'll start it up on the low end. Now this isn't clicking, I don't know. Maybe that's broken or what. It's out of range, who knows. Okay, so number 1, which is first, is the slowest speed, which I like. I gave that one a little bit of a boost. I'll do that for this one too. Bearings seem a bit stiff, but that's no surprise. Oh yeah. Not too bad, but they're definitely a little bit stiff. That's already pulling 0.52 amps. And it looks like the one on the right is going a little bit slower. That is working. It's very cold in here today. It's only the 60s, so that's like 65, maybe that's 70, I don't know. It's fairly limited airflow. It's filthy, so it's not to say that the fan itself is no good. But as it stands right now, it's pretty limited airflow. But again, it's filthy, so what do you expect? That is 52 the watts, 0.51 the amps, and a power factor of 0.84, which is kind of low for a PSC situation. It's not obnoxiously loud, but it's not really that quiet either. For the amount of air it's moving, it's making a good amount of noise. I tend to think these things are kind of aerodynamic disasters. The guards are very thick and restrictive, and the blades, they just have a weird design to them. I think it's just a flat blade would have been better for a reversible situation like this. Let's go to the 2. Not much change in power draw. That's up to 0.54. 58 the watts and a power factor of 0.88. And the airflow is still pretty minimal. It's a little better. The thing is also like right up against the thing, the pegboard. That's probably not helping anything. It's not terrible. It's down to 0.53 amps. Let's go to the high. And yeah, the airflow still is not really that impressive. It's okay, but it's not anything to write home about. I think for the amount of noise it makes, the airflow is pretty limited. It's very loud. That is 0.57 amps, 65.3 the watts, and a 0.93 power factor. I think that's an awful lot of power for the amount of air that it moves too. You get a box fan, it draws, 0.6 or something, like a 3733, and I think it would be moving a lot more air than this. It feels pretty out of balance too. Yeah, one of these blades is definitely out of balance. And I guess we could tell which one. Oh, they both are. Huh. Yeah, they're both pretty severely out of balance. Jeez. Alright, let's go to out. And on out, the power draw is 0.58 watts. 0.58 amps rather. 65.6 watts. Power factor of 0.93. Let's see how the airflow is. Actually, I think it's a little bit better. Not much, but I think it may be a little bit better this way. Seems a little bit quieter at least. Now let's do X, which I guess is the left fan pulling in and the right fan going out. And this, I'm sure, is aerodynamics total failure. Yeah, I could just feel the air from one fan recirculating into the other. If it had louvers that kind of directed the air to the sides, maybe this would have a chance of working, but I'm not sure how effective this is. I suppose if you only had one window in a given room, this would be your only option and it would work, but it definitely wouldn't work well. Huh, that's funny. At the beginning of the video, I thought the left fan had stiffer bearings. Well, that's that. It works. It seems to work as it should. Definitely needs a good cleaning. It's just generally pretty filthy in there. But we'll get it cleaned up, no problem. And I think it'll be very interesting to see how this comes apart, because it looked like this may be a fair bit easier than the Holmes ones.